All right, welcome to episode 7 of the Bulldog Bark. I am yours truly, the guru. With me, as always, I got BFC, Kyle the Butler fan, and Michael D. Rosa. The Dogs are coming off of a 72-59 win last Tuesday over Buffalo. Next up is going to be Cal tomorrow, 3-5, coming off a win over Santa Clara, I believe. Is that correct, guys?
Yes, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Yep.
Santa Clara, and actually they went to overtime with SDSU, so they're playing a little better lately. Michael, I'll punt it. Actually, let's start with Buffalo, boys. Yeah, Michael, I can start with you. What did you see in that Buffalo game? We'll recap Buffalo real quick. What did you see? What was your kind of thoughts after that game?
That game fucking sucked. It was awful. That's honestly like I'm not gonna. That's really all I got. They didn't turn Buffalo over. They didn't hit shots. Buffalo turns the ball over a ton and lets people hit shots. So play like shit. Hope you don't do that again. Just hope that's the one stinker and you get it out of the way. That's all I got on it.
Yeah, Kyle, about you?
I mean, Michael didn't mention it, but he mentioned it first in his recap. Is that they played like absolute crap and they still won by 13. I know they're playing an awful team. Like Buffalo is really not good, and it's not like my watching them in person. Sometimes you see these teams with low Ken Palm or net ratings, and you watch them in person. You're like, oh, they got some guys. Don't really think so. Don't think that's a good team. That Buffalo team doesn't have much. Just don't think they're very good. But we played our worst game of the season easily. I would say even worse than the Michigan State game, and we still won by 13. And I think good teams find a way to do that. So I'm happy with that. But other than that, I mean, you play like that against Cal. Obviously, you can play like that against the D2 team that were coming up. But before the Providence game, you play that way against Cal or Georgetown, and you lose. It's just that simple. So
Yeah, I mean, look, we got away with it. Is kind of how I look at it. Our buddies in Cincinnati just lost their second straight bye game. Uh, yeah, Georgetown's got bad losses. Villanova's got bad losses, and our worst game, we win it by 13. So we got very lucky because we just looked flat. And like we've kind of all been saying, I think that we all saw it coming just with four straight big wins, massive atmosphere against Texas Tech. 8 o'clock Tuesday at Hinkle was not exactly rocking. And if we couldn't deliver really as a fan base there, and that was very understandable and expected. But I think it kind of carried over onto the team, and the team just didn't have the same energy or fight. Even coming out of the second half, where Thad definitely ripped him a new one in the locker room. Pierre came out and went on a 10-0 run by himself almost, and we stretched it to like 22. And then it just kind of looked like they were like, all right, cruise control. And then Buffalo goes on a 12-0 run. So we were very lucky that it was against Buffalo and not, let's say, this next game against Cal where they've got some guys. But, we got away with it.
yeah, I mean, one more thing to add real quick. This is not an excuse, although it's technically how I'm wording it is an excuse, which is funny, but whatever. It's I believe there was 3 days off between the Texas Tech and Buffalo game, and there might have been 4. It was either 3 or 4. Anyway, Coach Mata, after in the press conference of the Texas Tech game, he said that the team had 2 days off after the Texas Tech game, 2 days no practice, because it had been Michigan State, then the tournament, then Texas Tech, and he wanted to give them 2 days off, and so they didn't do anything, no practice, no. He told them not to come in the gym, nothing for 2 days. So I guess I understand why he did it. I think that's what a good coach does, but maybe they weren't as prepared as they were. He made it very clear after the Buffalo game that all 4 days they were going all in on practice and Cal and stuff like that. So I think that they didn't game plan as much specifically for Buffalo, or maybe put the work in that game as much as they should have. I mean, maybe that's on Thad, maybe it's not, but I think not practicing for 2 days in the middle of the season is probably a factor.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that they probably maybe overlooked Buffalo and we're looking forward to Cal. Like BFC already alluded to, and all you guys have, at least we didn't lose because you got I think it was Holy Cross that beat Georgetown, right? And then
It was Holy Cross.
Yeah, but they're like 2-7. Southern beat Mississippi State the other day at Mississippi State. Like, there's teams that have lost to like really bad teams. At least we didn't lose. That's a good. And BFC mentioned Xavier's lost to like Southern and Delaware. So at the end of the day, we won. It hit our net a little bit because we didn't win like we are supposed to analytically. But hey, Nope, really no bad losses, boys. So we've had no bad losses so far. Let's just the Buffalo game. I kind of just want to burn it and it's gone. Let's kind of forget about it. Let's move on to Cal. Cal, like I said, so again tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Let's pack Hinkle, guys. Cal is 3-5. They are, in my opinion, underrated based on their record. I think people are. They were supposed to be a pretty good team coming into this year. They've underperformed a little bit. Played better lately. Like I mentioned at the beginning, recently just had a overtime loss to San Diego State and then really destroyed Santa Clara. And a lot of their losses are actually only by they lost to Tulane by 3, they lost to UTEP by 3, they lost to Montana State by 3. Not juggernauts by any means, but a lot of close losses. Michael, I'll punt it over to you again. What can we expect tomorrow versus the Cal Golden Bears? Kyle, I agree with you. I don't know what the fuck a Golden Bear is. Versus the Golden Bears.
So the two you mentioned, the loss to Montana State, that one's bad because Montana State just lost to a team called Rocky Mountain. Do you know anything about Rocky Mountain University? Let me know. I do not.
Sounds like an ice cream.
It does, yeah. Like it sounds like a nice flavor, like a combo thing. But yeah, but their losses to UTEP is a good surging mid-major program, and Tulane is good. Like that's their a top 120-ish basketball team. Just trying to, I don't know if Ken Pom pulled up in front of me. I could, but I'm not gonna. But with Cal, they have 3 really good players, then a definitive gap to the rest of their roster. They are not deep. They go about 7, 8 deep, and they've had a couple injuries this season. So their main 3 is Jalen Tyson. He's their best player. He's a forward, transferred from Texas Tech. Was one of the most efficient scorers in all of college basketball last season, averaged 12 points a game on a team that didn't run any team offense whatsoever. One of the best catch and shoot players in the country, can also create for himself, gets to the lane, full 3-level scorer. That kid will be playing in the NBA at some point. I don't know if it'll be next year. I don't know if it'll be a couple years from now. He is an NBA player. Next is Fardaws Imac. Fardaws is the best big man Butler has faced this season. He is excellent offensively. He is a walking double-double. He's had double-doubles in 5 of Cal's 8 games. He played at Utah Valley with Coach Madsen. He followed Madsen when Madsen came to California. He transferred to Texas Tech in that point, but we'll just ignore that one because he played Borley and was hurt all of season. Really skilled player. Can hit the 3 too. So he is they can run legit 5-out stuff. He's a good passer. They can get him scoring at all 3 levels. He's not a particularly great athlete, but he is very, very skilled. And Jalen Cone is more a microwave guard they have. He started his career at Virginia Tech, transferred to Northern Arizona. The Northern Arizona team last year was really bad, but they were 9-23 entering their conference tournament. And he put together this wild run. There were multiple games last season where he put up over 40 points. This kid is a microwave. He can score. He was over 40% from 3 last year. He can score. If he gets going, it's a long day for the opposition. In one of their games this year, I believe it was actually Santa Clara, he was 7 to 10 from 3. So we could be looking at a McMillan status if you let him get going. He also played like shit in the San Diego State game, though, so balance them both. But those are really their 3 key guys. Then you look at injuries. Jalen Celestine, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He only played 3 games. Same with Devin Askew and Keontae Kennedy, a Memphis transfer, played his first game against Santa Clara. And the rest of their roster is really not deep. They have those guys. Then the guys I mentioned are they're B team basically, and then it's a pretty significant tier gap till you get to your Grant Newells and they're backup forwards, and they're young guys that they are developing as a team. I think that's everything.
Just to add some pieces there. So you asked what Tulane's Ken Pom is. They're 91.
Yeah, they're good.
There you go. Yeah, that's behind Butler, obviously, but Butler's at 60. At 60 right now, but respectable. Yeah. So how about you, man?
Yeah, I just want to point out before I just looked it up. Rocky Mountain University is in Provo, Utah, which is really stupid because it's really stupid. You know why that's really stupid is because the mountain range that's in Provo, Utah isn't the Rocky Mountains, it's the Wasatch Mountains. Anyway, it's really
we're getting technical. I like it.
It's pissing me off. Anyway, the Rocky Mountains are not in Utah. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, when it comes to Cal, I mean, it's the thing that scares me about these Cal and Georgetown games is that, yeah, as a team, Butler's better, and I will predict a Butler win when we go into that later in the episode. But the truth is that they have these guys, unlike these Buffalo teams, that are super legit players. We know we've talked about Georgetown. You watch a Georgetown game, and Styles and Epps are like really, really good. Like you'd want them on any team. And these guys have, as Michael mentioned, 3 guys, and I won't go over them again, that are just anybody would love to have them on their team. I don't know a single team that wouldn't take Tyson, Imac, or Cone. I just don't know one. I watched their game against Santa Clara. I watched their game against San Diego State, and those 3 guys just really impressed me, especially Fardaz. I think he's amazing. Agree with the assessment that he's the best big we faced. I think Golden's not far behind, but I would agree. And yeah, I mean, I just think that the atmosphere is probably going to be a little better, just based on the fact that it's a Saturday, sun streaming in. We know those Hinkle games can get loud, but I think Cal as a team is a team that we're going to have to think about putting up a lot of points because their defense is awful, really bad. It's not even okay. It's very, very bad. And Tyson, Imac, and Cone are the type of players that you're probably not going to hold all 3 down the whole game. You're just not, because even if you're playing well on defense, because all 3 are just really good at scoring and putting the ball in the basket, that I don't think you're going to hold this Cal team to 60 points. I just don't. I don't think that's how you're going to win this game. I think you're going to win this game by playing good defense, but outscoring them. I think Butler has to outscore them off the merit that Butler's offense has been good this year and Cal's defense is dreadful.
So just to add to that, Kyle, before BFC you talk, the defense. So in KenPom, their adjusted defensive efficiency, they're 250th in the country, so they're really bad. Just a little side note before I let BFC talk, just an FYI. This is Cal's first true road game of the season. Just an FYI, this is their first true road game. We've harped on that all the time. Like they've had neutral games, but this is their first true road game, and how that's difficult for teams to do. And then second, we are the second toughest team technically on KenPom, San Diego State being first at 28. We are the second toughest team according to KenPom that they have played yet. BFC, what about you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with the depth kind of factor that is going to play into it. And the thing that I like about this is Thad's had 4 days to lock in on 3 players. And so you're not really going to get hurt by many people outside of that. When you're playing Texas Tech, they've got 6 or 7 guys that can hurt you, as we saw. And McMillan came in off the bench and goes 8 for 10. When Thad's going over his game plan, setting his defensive schemes, he's not planning on a guy to come off the bench and hit 8 threes like that. With Cal, he knows exactly where the damage is going to come from. So I'm just hoping that he is just locking in on those 3, sets up the matchups. And we can kind of go from there, because Telfort will take one of them. Thomas will obviously have his hands full. I'm hoping that he can stay out of foul trouble. We'll go over what the keys are, to get us a win. That's going to be one of the big factors. And then obviously Posh is going to have a big test in his hands. So yeah, I think depth is going to be where we can have the biggest advantage, because once they get into their bench, I have way more confidence in our bench scoring the rock than theirs. So you just got to do some damage.
Also, I want to point out real quick on the first true road game, which you're right, it is. I've already said this. This is also a factor. I believe that players are human, and this is a factor. This is also their first game out of the state of California. And not only is it their first game out of the state of California, it's their first game on a different time zone, and it's a 3-hour difference, and it's a noon game, which is normally 9 a.m. for them. I think that's a real factor. I really do. I think that even the MTEs they've played have all been in California so far this year. So they travel 3-hour time difference and have to play at what would be 9 a.m. In Berkeley. So I think that's a legit thing.
Yes, Kyle, look at Kyle bringing the knowledge right now.
That's a good point.
That is a great point. That's interesting.
100%.
So BFC just talked about the key points. What do you guys think is maybe the key point or maybe key matchup that you guys see as far as Butler hopefully pulling out this W? Michael, I'll kick it to you first. It could be key point or key player, everything.
I think you're going to have to try to stop Jalen Tyson. Tyson is one of the highest usage rates in the country. He It's second in the Pac-12. It would be first in the Big East. He gets the ball every single possession, just about, and he really orchestrates their entire offense. I think IMAC's going to get his. I really don't think that's a question. I just think, yeah, you hope to limit him to under 20 points. I think that would be a success, honestly. I just think with how Butler defends, they're going to give Thomas a lot of one-on-one with IMAC, and they're just going to live with the results. As long as they really can contain everyone else, I think Butler will be completely fine with that. So it's going to be a very tough matchup for Jalen Thomas, and it's someone he really hasn't faced. So I think I'm just going to give that like a, all right, I'll let it happen. But I think if they can stop Tyson and really make him turn the ball over a ton, I think this Butler offense is better when they can get turnovers going and then get out in transition. If you can make Jalen Tyson turn the ball over, which he has turned the ball over quite a bit this season, I think that's key. So really stopping Tyson. I think Butler's going to be able to score a ton on the other end. I already bet the over in this game, and I'm going to look at Butler's team total over as soon as that drops, which hopefully is soon. I think there are going to be a lot of points scored, but if Butler can contain Tyson enough, I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, 148. I looked at that number. I was like, "Are you kidding me? 148?
Like that.
That's a low. I think it's a low number. I think that kind of unless our defense decides to step up tomorrow, which it randomly does at times. Like Boise State is like, nah,
Yeah.
fuck you guys, right? So, but that's especially at home with a Butler offense, and they're going to be. I think they're going to be more motivated. I think the Cal or the Buffalo game might have been like the best case scenario for this Cal game coming up because like at least we got that shit out of the way, and now the team's like, okay, we got to play better. Kyle, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, matchup wise, you'd assume that there are three guys. Posh will be on. I mean, just height wise, it lines up. Posh will be on Cone, Jamil, and probably a lot of help on Tyson, but Telfort will probably mainly be the guy lining up against him, maybe Pierre at times. You've seen Butler's defense. You've seen Telfort actually guard like guards, like he guards the point, like significant a lot, which is interesting. And they have Posh guard the off guy, and even put DJ on a guy who's like 6'6", 6'7". It's worked with varying results. So I'm not guaranteeing this, but height wise, you'd think Posh is on Cone, Jamil's on Tyson, and then obviously whoever's in the game at center is on IMAC. And I think that I trust Posh and Jamil to lock down the perimeter as well as they can against players of that caliber. I agree that they're probably going to live with the results of the one-on-one down low. It's probably what's going to happen. It worries me because because I understand it's 2 points and not three. I get how efficiency works and all that, but Jalen and Andre aren't bad in the post defense by any scenario. But I think that if Cal's able to manufacture a play to get IMAC a back down to the basket look at the block, I think it's just more likely than not going to result in 2 points. That's all I'll say.
Which would be good for DePaul standards.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys watched the first half of that game.
Yeah,
Pause.
that was amazing.
Rough. My God.
2.1 points per possession. That is unheard of. That is
also
incredible. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so sorry to any Blue. I love the Blue Demons. I'm a Chicagoan, so I do love the Blue Demons. But man, that was rough to watch. BFC,
I bet Louisville at even money to win that game. I bet Louisville, and I don't know if I'm either going to feel like the biggest moron ever.
Nah, I think
Louisville.
you got the right one. At least they win some games, and they've actually competed in some games. Like I just don't see how DePaul can. Is it that DePaul or Louisville?
It's at DePaul.
I still don't care.
Yeah.
Listen, man, we've got DePaul, Louisville, and this game. And then we've got DePaul, Louisville, and then we can watch the shootout because both of those teams suck.
Yeah.
But I'm still excited to see that atmosphere.
Michael, what are you gonna do with Georgetown being aren't they at 11:30?
Yeah, I'm not going to the game. I'm not going to the Cal game.
Oh
Wow.
man,
I'm not missing Georgetown. That game means so much to me.
I want to know where Michael's loyalties lie. I'm kidding.
No,
I am not. No, there are many.
It's Cuse. It's Cuse. I get it.
Yeah, there are many Georgetown games I would skip. Georgetown, Syracuse is not one of them.
I hear you.
I can't miss it. I can't.
All right, BFC. What about you, man?
Yeah, I think Tyson and Telfort's going to be the matchup to look at. But I think the biggest key is going to be Pierre getting going early on offense. Just because, if the offense runs through Telfort, having him do that and then giving him the main assignment on D, I mean, I think that he can handle it. I mean, he's a great player, but running the offense through Pierre would just give him a little bit more energy on the defensive end. I'm not saying that Tyson's not going to get his, but I want him to at least give as much effort as possible on the defensive end, with the understanding that, there have been times during the year, especially when Pierre's on the bench, where you're like, okay, Telford, you just need to get a bucket. And in him getting a bucket a lot of times, especially with good defenses, it's just him getting big and kind of muscling over guys. And he can do it. He's bigger than almost anyone that's guarding him. But, it takes a lot of effort. It's not like he's just getting these kind of spot-up shots. So I think Pierre getting going, DJ getting going early, and then Posh kind of running the show and setting the pace is going to be huge, because Telford is going to have his hands full on defense.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be you this week. I think that I something I've noticed. I don't know if this is. I think DJ thrives in like the big game situations. Like I think he loves like the Texas Tech environment stuff, the tournament environment. Which again, I was down there. Trust me, the Butler crowd was it was awesome. Like to see what was going on down there. So I think like last game against Buffalo, again, no one was there. DJ is missing some shots I usually expect him to make. So I think DJ is going to step up again this game. I think if we get it sounds like hopefully we'll have a good turnout tomorrow. There's nothing better than a noon Hinkle, by the way. Apparently it's supposed to rain or something, but still, noon Hinkle is beautiful. It just is. It's when that sunlight comes in. Whew, it is just the best. I mean, it's the cathedral, man. So no, I agree with all your guys' points. Let's jump to our predictions. Michael, I'll start with you. Prediction for tomorrow, Butler at Cal. By the way, the opening spread was Butler 11-point favorite. I believe on KenPom, I think it's like, I have to pull it back up. It was like 80. Let me see here real fast. KenPom has us favored 81-69. Great number. There we go. 81-69. Michael, what are you predicting?
Yeah, I think this is a much higher scoring game than KenPom has it. Hence why I bet the over. I went Butler 90, California 76.
Kyle, how about you, man?
Well, if the over-under is 148 and spread is 11, that would mean the predicted whatever is 80-69, which again, no, it's going to be higher score than that. Like, come on, I'll add 10 to both, more or less. I'll say it hits the spread. I'll go 90-79.
BFC?
I'm going to go 88-75.
You know what? Let's see. What am I feeling? Because all this is I was just guessing. Let's see. I'm gonna go with BSC, I'm gonna ride with you. I'm gonna go with 88. The upper 80s feel right. Upper 80s feel right to me. And I don't quite trust our defense yet. Let's go with 88. Now I'm gonna go with 88 to I think it was 79 or 80. Because I don't know if we cover 11. I think Cal's a little better than the record shows still. I don't know if I totally trust our defense. I do trust our offense. So I also agree. I think we're going to get about 10, 9 point. Maybe we get some fouls at the end to cover. They say good teams win, great teams cover. What you say?
Yeah, I was going to say it'll be close to the spread. I'm not betting the 11, but I'll take a team total
11,
over.
Yeah, the over. I would smash the over. I don't trust the 11's a weird number. I don't love that number. All right, boys. So again, and also it is Margaritaville tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure if that means we're supposed to wear
the whole student session's wearing from.
Okay, they are. Okay,
everyone that I know is we're all going to do Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that.
We won't look stupid if we're wearing that, because I'm planning on wearing it, but I didn't want to show up and no one else is wearing Hawaiian stuff and I look like a complete moron. So all right. Yeah. Good.
So I think that'd be funnier if you showed up wearing Hawaiian stuff and no one else did.
That's what I was worried about.
I'm texting everyone I know to dog pound it. Cut it. It's done. No more.
Because they put Margaritaville, but they didn't exactly clarify. They're like wear this stuff. So okay, good.
They didn't say wear the stuff, but the students have kind of taken it upon themselves.
That's what I assumed it was. So, and that's
weird to put out that poster without a theme.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So. Margaritaville tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Dogs host Cal. This is the last D1 opponent of the non-conference. So let's go out on a high note. Again, 12 p.m. It will be on FS1 for those of you that cannot make it. That's all we got today, guys. Go Dogs, and we'll talk to you all next time.